Welcome into the show. It's a beautiful day in crypto, a beautiful day in life. We have some Bitcoin whales selling though. What are they buying with these profits? We're going to take a look at that. The government's moving some Ethereum over to exchanges. Maybe they're ready to put the dagger in the heart, finalize this alt schizophrenia life that we've been living here. And we have all of the craziest news going on in America right now as the Republican Party has been splintered in half. And we deal with the fact that if you have enough money, apparently diddling kids is allowed. So we got to figure out how to handle this, folks. Feeling a little bit spicy, feeling a little bit heaved off about the situation, but it's going to be okay because we're looking at the charts. We're figuring out different levels where we can make some moves, where we can make some money here. So welcome to the show. I got my homie, Mr. Isaac.
Hello, everybody. It's
Glad to have you. Glad to have you,
back.
baby. Mr. Isaac.
Yes, sir.
I think I need to be the one with the Inquinzeoja hair now because I'm kind of bothered that your hair is nice. I could pull it off. Like I got the distance. You know what I mean? I can absolutely pull it off.
You should go for it.
I think it's
pretty easy to do. You know, you just get some product and stick it out to the sides. You know, stick it out and up. That's all I need to do. And then you are the.
I think it needs to happen, man. I really, really do. You know, now we're going to be taking a look at obviously the altcoin sector. One of my favorite coins was reposted and kind of highlighted by the main Ethereum account as well. So I found that very, very interesting. Let's take a look at everything, folks. Make sure to follow me on X. This is where you can find my local crash outs, my deeper thoughts since our crooked government has guaranteed us that Epstein list, and it doesn't even exist anymore. Why in the world is Ghislaine Maxwell still in jail? Trying to tell me that Jeffrey and his accomplice, Ghislaine, had the entire island of their own prestige and crimes, regardless of all the political elite and media leaders that had frequented the same location in the same time frame that their alleged crimes had been committed. Utter bullshit, black pill swallowed, no going back. It is what it is. Isaac, I don't think there is any, like, other than them walking back and literally completely acknowledging that justice needs to be done. I'm going to have a time going back. Like, you know, I can't even imagine what party I'm going to even feel like voting for in 2028. And like, I don't want to not vote. You know, I want to like
Elon's party.
I mean,
the American
Elon
party.
can't run. He's not a citizen, right? So
Yeah,
he's just going to pour a bunch of money on some pundit that he wants to represent at that point, if he even feels like it by then, right? Yeah, this is the deepest thought that I had last night. It's really something that I'm struggling with here. So just some food for thought, right? If all of these things in the past aren't true, you know, was she really handling a list? Was it just Jeffrey? Right? Something to think about here. So make sure you're following us on YouTubers. We got Mr. Isaac, myself here on the top. We are at 79,400 subscribers as of now. If you are joining us on the show and you're still watching, I appreciate you. If you're not still watching this show right now, you disgust me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's going to be huge. Now, I did enter along right before we went live. Didn't put it in the Discord. I should probably put it in an update here, but I am trying out a little bit of it's a small long. It's not the whole bag long. I am seeing some things on the Bitcoin chart that are kind of making me bullish for this short-term move here. I am seeing rising in movement on this MACD, which essentially shows that the selling is getting weaker and weaker. And we are falling into some pretty old school spots here. And again, we have tapped this trend line pretty nicely. You know, you remember my overall thought that we come above and beyond it, tap the trend line, and then we can start cooking up. And we're falling on this kind of midterm volume node right here. Liquidity does exist below us. I'm acknowledging this. So liquidity has been kind of a moving target. The top end, there was a big pile of liquidity that is now evaporated. There's two more spots at 107,700 and 107,500, but I'm keeping a stop on this thing. I'm watching it pretty closely. Isaac, you're going to have to help me monitor. Ooh, baby, we are moving though.
We're moving.
We are moving a little bit already. So there we go. And this is the same tools I've shown you guys over and over again. You know, I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but essentially what I had, the 15-minute chart, you know, let's back up a bit. So you already know my weekly thesis, but on the 4-hour chart, I saw the MACD was essentially, in my opinion, this is another metric, is the movement to the upside weakening and weakening, but also the selling getting weaker and weaker on the MACD. We are digging ourselves currently out of a 4-hour red MACD movement. And so I'm seeing a couple different metrics on multiple different levels that, they kind of get me enticed. They kind of get me enticed to take a swing at it. So I find those entry points off the 15-minute. And this is what the 15-minute looks like on TradingView with the money flow and the oversold levels. We had the trigger wave in front of the momentum wave. Momentum wave looks like it's trying to roll back over to the upside. We had the VWAP give that trigger ahead of this movement. So we'll see where this ends up taking us. This might end up being a real fun show here, folks. We are up. Let's see what we're up here. We're up 4%. Blink of an eye. All right. And again, it's a smaller trade. You know what I mean? I clipped off about $1,500, I think, on this one. So we'll see where it goes. Let's get into the rest of the stories, though. We got a lot of chaos. This terrifying idea that I had of a hockey stick movement for Bitcoin dominance still playing out, unfortunately. Now, where does this tap out at? Where is the top of the Bitcoin dominance? And this is on the weekly chart. We are showing 3 weeks in a row of not explosive upside. And this is something that we haven't seen in quite some time. These are 3 consistent losses on the weekly in a row for Bitcoin dominance. It's been a pretty long time since we'd seen this. Honestly, if you look back, we haven't seen this type of loss of Bitcoin dominance momentum since December of 2024. So that being said, I'm cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic about this. I'm not expecting just massive parabolic explosionary money, but seeing that metric, it's got me kind of snooping around on these, and it's not that I'm going to be buying more alts just based off this metric, because I've already built really nice alt entries, low entries. There are a few alts that I'm thinking about that I'll go over on the show today, maybe allocating just a touch into for a little bit of risk appetite. But here's what the landscape looks like right now. Kind of flat. Kind of a mixed bag. You have one outlier here, Cronos, Crow token, the token behind crypto.com, is having a nice surge here. So we'll take a look at that in the altcoin section. Bitcoin literally flatlined 0.03%, but Ethereum showing a little bit of upside, 1%. Not bad. Well, Stinky Link's in the green, but just barely. Doge, all these things. It's a very, very mixed bag right now. No massive movements to report on yet. But this is kind of where it gets fun to put in trades, to take on positions. I'll be talking about that altcoin I'm looking at more seriously than the rest later on in the show here today. And maybe you guys can twist my arm to get into another altcoin with, we'll talk about it in this context. Let's just use the tether from this trade to build a bag with, right?
Fair enough.
Right? Just print the tether and build a bag out of it. This is actually working. What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. I am a chaotic being. All right. Moving on. And now, this is what the landscape looks like. So, a lot of flatline on Bitcoin, a little bit of upside on Ethereum, a little bit of pullback on Bitcoin dominance. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Cronos is up 16%. Zcash, hate it, up 10%. Loki, hate it, up 7.8%. And Pudgy Penguins. All right. I don't hate you, Pudgy Penguins. Let's take a look at your graph. Yard tried to build out. I've seen Pudgy Penguins. You can also do their emojis within WhatsApp, which is kind of chaotic. Luca Net's out there working hard at it. And some of the more terrifying graphs out there. This one Follis put out there. Our quant just sent him the others chart.
That's pretty terrifying.
This is kind of terrifying, right? And this is what it looks like on TradingView here. Now we are printing that green dot on the weekly on this exact same chart, but there is no denying that the others chart, this is the cryptos excluding Bitcoin, and this is priced in Bitcoin. They're breaking below a pretty important trend line. Like, this is a do or die level for altcoins in this market right now, you guys. So I'm watching this chart very, very closely. Again, this is others to BTC. This is what this chart is. We're going to have to take a look at it, because watching stuff like this, Paulus is one of the best traders out there. He's warning about this, said reclaim the trend line soon, or mathematically it's never been so over for altcoins. And then he refused to elaborate on that. IYK. And this is what it feels like. holding these damn alts, right? Just the same, falling through your hands, looking for that upside.
The one in the back is me with my graphene bags.
Yeah, this is Isaac with his graphene bag, his AI agent. Wait a minute. Crow is a tranny coin? I didn't know that.
Crow is a gambling site now. Interesting.
No. Did they do the Kalshi type move?
I guess they might have. I haven't seen anything about it, but that would be interesting.
Okay. Well, they're going to have to pull some big stuff off to make up for their little mishap on their token there. Because, here's some context on Crow. So last bull market, Crow had an amazing move to the upside. There is no denying Crow had an amazing move to the upside. Let's go take a look. I'll take you down memory lane here just to explain stuff. Give you some context. This is what you guys come here for us psychos that have been in here for too long. We've lost our minds and we know too much. So Crow had a 70% token burn, essentially, right before this massive move, caused a lot of great price action. And then they had a 70% release of the token, an exact opposite of bullish movement right in this zone right here. Thankfully, it did not kill the token itself, but we are probably going to see the market cap begin to move to the upside while price experiences that diminishment of inflation that we so deeringly fight up against in crypto, but yet we embrace it for altcoins for some chaotic reason. Where's the trade at? We're at 7%. That's great. Made $100. This actually is ridiculous that this is working out this nicely. Okay, moving on now. Oh, and some housekeeping. If you guys are out there, you're in crypto. We do know that there is no denying Bitcoin is here to stay. And if you want to find a place, a diversified place, obviously we have our main channel sponsor here with these delicious, beautiful cold storage devices. Okay. It comes, I don't know if I have the other one here. Oh, yeah. So when you buy this thing, it comes in this badass case. And what you do is you just slide this open. You got your metal card there that taps to your phone, does a 3-factor authentication with your face and your finger. And then you got your seed phrase card right there. So if you lose the metal card, as long as you have your recovery phrase in a safe spot, right? The recovery phrase is how you really access your crypto. So that's something important to note. Just wanted to highlight that for all the new users in crypto out there. But if you also want to diversify and have different spots where you're holding the Bitcoin long term and find great tax incentives, make sure to call 877-936-7175. Again, 877-936-7175. This is Bitcoin IRA. Tell them the Blockchain Basement sent you, and they will give you all the information you can take advantage of within the tax incentive environment that exists within IRAs and all of those things included. So make sure to do that. Support the channel. Appreciate you guys. Now, a lot. I got a lot off my chest. Speaking of gambling, I like this. When is Drift gonna moon? Are we gonna take a look at Drift today, Isaac?
Yes. Why not?
Why we may as well. We may as well look at Drift later on in the show in the altcoin section. Let's blast through all the Bitcoin stuff, all these whales selling. What the hell's going on with Trump and the chaos there within? So yesterday I was a little bit skittish on taking a trade because we see these damn tariff conversations come back again. Donald Trump has begun releasing letters, not lists. He won't release lists, but he'll release tariff letters to mess with my trades, imposing new tariffs on 12 new countries starting August 1st, 25% tariff on Malaysia and Kazakhstan. What the 30% tariff on South Africa and 40% tariff on Laos and Myanmar. You know what? I have no problem with the tariffs at all. In fact, I think we should up them. And honestly, I think we should nationalize production anyways. So that's my opinion of that. But we are dealing with the markets feeling a little uneasy about this. The 30% tariff on South Africa, Kazakhstan, and Malaysia. They're in play. We'll see how really we see these releases come out. And in terms of how bad it affected price, not too bad, right? Not too bad. We pulled back. We had the release of the tariffs come back. We tested this downward trend line on Bitcoin right as the tariffs came out, gave us some downward pressure, but bounced right off of it. God, this thing's already at 108.48, no 458 now.
Cooking.
Look at us. Stop it. What are we
Stop.
doing here? What are we doing?
Rock hard.
Daddy, chill. All right, we got $145 out of the deal, maybe 10%. This is kind of fun. All right. So now, this is why I love trading, right? This is why I love trading. I got all my systems, all my tools. I wait for the trade to come to me. We take a little snip at it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. While I'm going to up the stop loss. I'm going to up the stop loss to cover the trade. I'll show you guys how to do this. So we got the entry point. Delicious, right? Oh, man. If I never close this trade, I'll never have to work again. But I am hosting a show, and it is difficult to keep an eye on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a stop loss to at least cover the trading fee. So it's literally a free trade. We're going to do this. We're going to do 108. 150. Let's see what that gets us. So we got to grab at least 2% to cover the trading fee here. So 108, 200. Maybe let's do that. No, that's too much. 108.75. I think that's a happy median there. Okay. There we go. Stop loss is in place. So now I can yap. And if this thing comes below this volume node, I lose the trade, but I don't lose any money. There you go. Easy way to do it. Now, snooping around for that big pump up, and the crypto face, it looks like he's doing it too, man. How many people know this chart? This is a crypto face OG chart. The Jesus take the wheel. Jesus take the wheel moment. Essentially, when you see these kind of rounded movements, a lot of hardcore price support, black diamond eyes coming in there, another weaker sell-off after a slighter movement. Then, more often than not, the Jesus take the wheel. I've seen it play out a lot of times. Violent move to the upside afterwards. So we'll see that. Outside of any big bad tariff releases, we might be able to get that. Now, in these tariff releases, there is some context to keep in mind here. Last year, America did have a combined $135 billion goods trade deficit, okay, with Japan and South Korea. The deficit's fueled by their unfair trade barriers to finally level the playing field for America in terms of trade, not in terms of justice and protecting kids, of course. Trump is going to hike the current 10% tariff on Japan and South Korea to 25% on August 1st. So that is coming August 1st. We're keeping an eye on that. It's coming. This is a good thing to do in terms of trade for the United States. I don't know if I'm ever going to stop taking jabs about this freaking.
Oh, no. Take jabs. Have fun.
Yeah, I can't stop.
I'm going to do what I did last election, bro. I'm not going to vote.
Dude, that's what we gotta vote while we like. A lot of countries can't even like vote, right? Like, I feel like we gotta vote.
I mean, we don't have to.
Yeah, I think we do. I have to vote. Me personally, I have to vote. I'm curious in this straight. Patton is bringing up a good question. What does Kazakhstan even make? Isaac, can you grok that to
sure.
To get their main export figured out here? Because I wonder what I was like, what the F is this? You wonder, what does Kazakhstan even produce? That's Borat. Borat is a great export of Kazakhstan. That's a good point. Kelly just walked by. Bitcoin mining. All right, fair. But we're talking about tariffs, Kelly. Kelly, he's about to moon me. Kelly is literally about to moon me right now. Unbelievable.
He always does.
Unreal. All right. Now, Binance is leading Bitcoin spot trading right now, 2025, with 37.3% market share, over $3.4 trillion in market value in volume coming in through Binance. So Binance is still a hardcore player when it comes to trades out there. And Jack Dorsey is messing around with encrypted communications here. Well, just kind of free chat. He launched a WhatsApp killer, no internet, no account, no trace, called BitChat, a peer-to-peer Bluetooth app that doesn't need Wi-Fi, signal, or even a login. No cloud, no gatekeepers, just encrypted chaos. Maybe that ball-slapping moment. Oh, I just heard the beep. We got stopped. Look at this. We got stopped.
That's okay, though. You get stopped in profit.
That
was a fun little trade.
It's, free trade. That's kind of fun. So I'm snooping around. This is how you fish, right? This is how you...
I have all the data on Kazakhstan.
Oh, do you?
Let's see.
What does Kazakhstan even?
I'm going to go through the entire. Challenges and crude oil, 53.8% of exports.
Okay.
Oil and gas.
Okay.
Uranium, 4.4% of the exports. Then we have like copper, other minerals, like wheat, crops, livestock, chemicals, all that other stuff, and
this is to the U.S.
This is to the U.S. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have they export to like Italy, China, Russia, and the Netherlands as well.
Okay.
Turkey
Okay.
and South Korea. So they're kind of all over the place. So it's kind of reasonable, I guess.
Yeah.
I
mean,
guess.
that's just such a out of the blue,
I
country.
know. You never hear anybody talk about it until Trump throws a tariff at it.
Well, Borat from Kazakhstan was like the
Yeah.
main thing that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
They export botches, maybe. God, this chat is unhinged. I kind of feel like trying out this Jack Dorsey app. Encrypted Chaos sounds fun to me. This is actually why I originally, honestly, like being able to hold my own crypto, like on a cold storage device, was a huge driving factor during COVID. During Tyranny Actual being right around the corner, bank bail-ins already having been a thing. But encrypted chat is actually one of the original reasons why I found crypto. So I'm actually kind of interested in getting on that. Now we have Reserve One is getting ready to list, and I find this very, very interesting. A slew of these companies doing this. A Reserve One company listing NASDAQ via $1 billion in a merger deal, managing a Bitcoin-led crypto portfolio that includes Ethereum and Solana. So a little bit of a Bitcoin, ETH, Solana hybrid type play on Wall Street coming in. And I saw another one very, very similar to this. It was BBVA, very large bank in the EU, launched a Bitcoin and Ethereum trading and custody setup for retail users in Spain, fully integrating into its mobile app under the MiCA compliance. So another Bitcoin Ethereum hybrid access point through traditional finance. I'm seeing a few of these pop up over the last 24 hours. The news has been coming out, and I find these very, very intriguing. More and more access points on the traditional finance side are being opened up and given that route to get entry points into Solana and Ethereum, which, for the love of God, needs to help the others chart. Okay. That needs to help because this graph, the others to Bitcoin graph, this is a sketchy location for these altcoins to be in right now. Hope to God that we see the bounce from where we're sitting right now. It is what it is. If this keeps breaking down, I mean, this is why I'm constantly trading. The next major level that I'm seeing here, just shooting from the hip, is essentially right there. These points of support previously are going to have to hold up if we keep cascading downwards. We're kind of in no man's land with where we're currently at. This is on the weekly, and we are trying to defend this level currently. But it's hard to defend them when the whole conversation has been about Bitcoin, and rightfully so. We're only going to have a few months of nasty upside for altcoins, in my opinion. It's about having the balls and the wherewithal to take those profits and the right charts and follow the right people. Because when that month or two does come, you're going to have people again, Cardano is going to overtake Bitcoin, or XRP is going to be the next bank of the world. And all this stuff's going to hit the internet. You have to stay based, take the profits when they're there, roll them into more Bitcoin. That's on me to do so. I'll be doing that in a public manner. And it's up to you to keep supporting us and check it out when I'm doing so. So now this is the greater conversation. I really like this. This is on Reddit. I now own 0.1 Bitcoin. That's it. I know you guys most probably have much more. This is a massive milestone for me and my family. I will keep growing Bitcoin step by step. Hopefully, it will help my kids 10 to 20 years from today. Honestly, don't downplay yourself if you have 10% of a Bitcoin, you guys. Honestly, I have way too many alts in comparison to Bitcoin right now. And that's why I've been constantly just trading. And if I can win if I can win 1% or 2% on Bitcoin per week, I'm feeling really, really, really good. And just being in the mindset, shifting like how much of a percent of a Bitcoin can I get out of this? That's how we really change the game. Instead of thinking in terms of dollars, we got to start thinking in terms of Bitcoin. I agree with Sufficient. This is a very, very base take. It's taking that long-term mindset and really putting yourself below the value of your family and your children. Like my kids, my wife are more important than me. And, I see on X all the time, there's these, kind of family nihilists, I would call them, that really don't have much interest in a legacy. Their legacy is the snapshots that they take on that they take on Twitter. You know what I mean? There's no like real long-term outlook like, oh my God, I want to be a dad. I want to be a good husband. There's a very few of that. All I see on Twitter is all these snapshots of meme coin tickers and NFTs that are going to set them up with their yachts and their Lamborghinis. And some people are so poor in this world that they only have money. I will say that. I absolutely feel that way.
Based as fuck.
Like Mikhail says, I'm the most more. I know they rely on me, but honestly, they're more important. Like, you know, I am here to protect them. I'll put my life in front to protect them 100% of the time. Never going to, never going to do that. I understand like why you might think that way, Mikhail, but I just statistically not. Semler Scientific acquires 187 more Bitcoin for $20 million. This is a little science company starting to fade that Bitcoin reserve play. Sure, we've seen a lot of it coming out, but I think these companies are getting ready for something like this. This is where things are about to get crazy. The U.S. House Committee this is the House Committee of Ways and Means is going to hold a hearing on July 9th to discuss how they can make America the crypto capital of the world and kind of follow through with that competitive edge that Donald Trump has highlighted we need, as Bitcoin is this unstoppable force, meeting the immovable object of governments and building the 21st century of digital asset tax policy. They're figuring out how they can tax this, take control of it. You know what? I have something related to this. And it was going to be different, but it's kind of one and the same. The government's dropped its appeal in the Tornado Cash lawsuit.
Oh,
interesting. Seems you can't control this. Huh? Seems like code is free speech indeed.
Indeed.
I like this. Just a simple highlight. You do with this information combination as you may. Boating accidents happen. Okay. Boating accidents happen. And if the forefathers, if you woke up George Washington right now and told him, yeah, we get taxed on our income upwards of 20%. We get taxed on sales if we sell stuff. We get taxed on purchases if we purchase things at the store. We have to pay vehicle registration, home taxes. The list goes on. George Washington would roll over in his grave. They would probably punch me in the face for being okay with the situation we're currently in right now. Flat out. They would absolutely be stacking bodies. 10 years ago, they'd have started stacking bodies. We are a frog in a slowly boiling water kettle that have then led to the situation where essentially we get taxed upwards of 60% of our income if you really add up everything. This needs to change. I think we have the tools available to us within encrypted networks, within the Bitcoin ecosystem to change the game by force. I don't think there's any voting our way out of the situation that we've ended up in. We are literal monetary slaves. There is no way to vote ourselves out of the situation. We are so deep down the dark rabbit hole that I think that we have to take control of this by encrypted force. So there is that. I will not crash out fully. You can tell I'm a little spicy. The black pill's in. It's swirling around in my belly. And there is no turning back here. I know where we're at. At least we know how bad things truly are. And we can act accordingly. So the Bit Digital, this company, massive Bitcoin holder, massive whale, just sold all of its Bitcoin. And instead, it bought $200 million worth of Ethereum. Now they're sitting on $254 million in Ethereum. Bit Digital is either going to be the greatest fool on Wall Street or a genius if we actually see an alt season occur. This is a sketchy move, but man, it's something that might be looked at as a genius move a year from now. Yeah, this is absolutely. Cali Crypto Dude, if George woke up right now, he would spit on all of us for letting government tax us on everything. 100%. 100%. Thankfully, now we have different digital tools. We have boats that we can have accidents on. We have other things that we can do, right? Sometimes reasonable men need to do unreasonable things. Sometimes. Oil in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan's main export is exploding bodies. Okay, Jesus. Crypto fascist colonizer. What are you doing in the chat, bro? Calm down. Oh my God. I would not want to be spit on by George Washington. I can say that. That'd be an unpleasant experience. Not only, from a I failed you, I disappointed you standpoint, but from a, biological standpoint, that'd be probably pretty problematic. Their dentistry was not that great back then in the 1700s. Now, moving into the altcoin section, greater. The US government has deposited 86 Ethereum worth 209K. So a very, honestly, a very small amount in comparison to the company buy we just saw. They moved it to Coinbase Prime. Now, in my opinion, this doesn't feel or look like the government's getting ready to dump their Ethereum. Rather, this is a further movement into Coinbase being the main custodian for the literal government bag of crypto. I've already discussed this. I had some jerk off on a space. He's like, where's the government holding the Bitcoin? No one knows. He was just trying to talk fast. Here's the answer. The government is using Coinbase to hold the Silk Road Bitcoin. The government is using Coinbase to hold their Ethereum. Okay. And this is all crypto that they have seized from people through what they call crimes of Silk Road, opening up a marketplace for people to transfer Bitcoin for whatever goods. And honestly, it's the type of goods and the purchaser that's committing the crime, not the platform that's committing the crime. It's like saying that people wrote a death threat with a pencil, so then they arrest the pencil maker. That is the same type of situation. So Coinbase is essentially looking like the golden child for the US government and where they're going to actually hold Bitcoin. Where do you think all the institutions are going to go play in altcoins? If they ever do, it's going to be on Coinbase, and it's going to be a decentralized exchange within Coinbase, which is none other than Aerodrome. So I do actually want to go look at Aerodrome's price right now as things sit. Let's go check it out because I feel like we're toiling around. Yep, 70 cents, just under 70 cents right now. Obviously, the Aerodrome bag is built. We've built out a series of higher lows nicely. And something that I do actually note here is that we have, I wonder why that's not giving it. So we have this old school low at about 11 cents. I didn't get into Aerodrome until about 18 cents. And I bought 3 times at 50 cents, 50 cents, and 50 cents. So I bought Aerodrome after that 18-cent buy 3 times at 50 cents. What I'm seeing here is, you have the general trend line, but actually we're starting to get a beginning of a parabolic swoop back up to the upside for Aerodrome. I feel like when we do see that month or two of altcoin speculation come in, this is where I see institutions be like, all right, we'll shave off $1 billion. We'll go play in this ecosystem. We'll go play in that ecosystem. And that is where crazy things can happen to coins of this size. The market cap of Aerodrome is $500 million right now. It's been chosen as the DEX landing spot within Coinbase. And I think this is where we do have a chance to get some disgusting returns on if we're based enough to hold through the hard times in altcoins. But it's up to you. You get the altcoins that you hold at the price you deserve. There is no other way of putting it. We are seeing larger institutions getting ready for this, though, so they might know something we don't. We have Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev talking about tokenization being one of the biggest innovations of the past decade.
And you probably saw last week, Chairman Atkins of the SEC gave an interview about tokenization. He called it a great innovation. Mm-hmm. And we agree with that. We think tokenization is perhaps the biggest innovation to come into capital markets in the past decade. So, and you probably saw.
So I think he's underselling it. The past decade, I think tokenization and automating the transfer of goods with NFTs, actually solidifying that ownership certificate in a now digital economy, is probably one of the biggest innovations over the past 50 years. I'd say over the past 5 decades at minimum. I mean, honestly, it could be within the last century. I know that Bitcoin peer-to-peer transfers and that value, making it from one person to the next online, is the biggest innovation outside of the internet literally itself being created. So I would say tokenization is going to be a major, major move. And it's probably going to be one of the more disruptive things that we've seen in the total of a century, because it's going to disrupt people's jobs. It's going to disrupt that middleman activity that we've seen. Not only do we see AI agents coming out and disrupting what customer service really was or is, we're going to see NFTs and tokenization disrupt the real estate industry. It's going to disrupt a lot of traditional data centers, data housing. And this is something that I have to at least have a toe in the water of investments into, because I do see things going that way. And there's nothing more that corporations love than automating their systems and doing away with human capital. They hate people. Corporations hate people, and they're not people. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about how long you worked at the corporation. The moment that they can outsource you and make it cheaper and more automated to do your job, they are absolutely going to pull that trigger. Take that to the bank. Now, in this, I've already talked about the Treasury and how they're handling these stable coins, basically frothing at the mouth at the idea of privatizing money printing above and beyond what the Federal Reserve has already been doing, so they could buy Treasury bonds with stable coins. And now we see Circle's user base is going vertical. The monthly stablecoin senders for Circle has surpassed 5 million based on unique addresses that initiate these transactions within just a 30-day rolling period. There's a lot of uptick in this stablecoin sending going on right now on the underside. It doesn't play in altcoins yet, but I think that when we see the expansion of a larger ecosystem like this with Arbitrum as well, and their stablecoin adoption back to all-time highs, a huge chunk of that Circle USDC supply on Arbitrum deposited on Hyperliquid. This is where you start to see those long-term expansions happening at. I do want to go check out a Hyperliquid because I was a little bit worried about it. We had Coinbase rolling out its own perpetuals, and Hyperliquid, I'm a lover and a fighter for decentralized trading. Hyperliquid down 4% on the day, but honestly, it's looking pretty good. Kind of the local levels that I could feel like I got, the pullback from Coinbase rolling out those futures. They haven't fully integrated those futures yet. But I know that there's a lot of people that like decentralized spots, because here's the thing. Back to the whole George Washington spitting on the face. Decentralized exchanges give us freedom. They give us freedom to transact how we want. Coinbase automates all of our information straight to the Internal Revenue Service. Do not pass go, do not collect $200 unless you're going to get taxed on that ass. So when I see Hyperliquid and the opportunity it presents within that, I feel that there is a large contingent of traders that will take advantage of that. And it's probably going to stand up pretty well. Hyperliquid is currently number 11 in terms of all crypto projects out there. If you did away with the 2 stable coins within this, it's actually coming in at number 9. So it's nothing to scoff at. It's nothing to kind of ignore. And its general chart does look pretty strong. So very, very interested in this. I'm very interested in the fact that so much Arbitrum is making its way to Hyperliquid in general. And this is kind of the downhill movements that I think we can actually catch on to. You know what I mean? Decentralized exchange plays, decentralized trading plays might actually benefit greatly the smaller market caps from the success of Hyperliquid. Now, something kind of cool that I have seen as well is not Ethereum's price, but it is Ethereum posting about the DeFi mullet. Okay. I rock the DeFi mullet and the token within the DeFi mullet. All business in the front, DeFi chaos in the back, baby. We have Ethereum, the official account, talking about the DeFi mullet and how it'll bring benefits of Ethereum to billions of real users that are getting involved with DeFi. A great thread from Morpho Labs and Paul Frambot. And shame on me for not following this guy. What am I doing? But you know what? Morpho is a landing pad that I've seen tons of TVL make it onto very, very quickly. The price is actually holding up pretty damn well comparative to the rest of the markets here. We're at $1.37 right now. It's been very, very flat. My main bag has been built at 87 cents, so I'm actually quite pleased with how this has gone. And this is at a $438 million market cap. Imagine, I'm already pretty damn pleased with the buy entry points and the signals I've given out on this at 87 cents, back up the truck moment. Mind you, if you took advantage of that, good on you. If you didn't, well, again, you get the crypto you have at the price you deserve. But if this thing even sneezes bullish and back to these previous highs that it experienced just a few months ago, that is a flat out more than 4x on that altcoin, and I am feeling good. We go on over to the website. Let's check out how much money is still in this ecosystem. God damn. They have $2.4 billion in active loans and $6.9 billion in total deposits. Thick. Absolutely thick. Let's go to the DeFi Llama. Let's make sure this baby is still looking juicy. And for anyone that doesn't know, just a 5-second explanation of what Morpho is. It is the chosen altcoin protocol by Coinbase. Coinbase chose Morpho over Moonwell to do Bitcoin to USDC loans. Okay, so people can still hold their Bitcoin within Coinbase, but they get a loan of USDC to go build a house or go buy a car or go speculate on altcoins. This is where I felt very, very good confluence of what Morpho was up to. And now we hop on over to the DeFi Llama side and see how healthy these stats are actually looking right now. So we got Morpho's total value locked within this metric at 4.5 bill. And we go down. I want to go wider so I can actually see this. I want to see the token value. Did they change this layout on me? Oh no!
I think they did a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, they
They're
did.
changing the layouts to everything recently.
Oh my god! All right, so we'll go over here see if I get it. The TVL compared. Oh, and this is overall TVL. I mean, I know that the TVL is looking price. I loved having the ability to overlay the token price with it, but I know
be able to still do that.
I mean, not on my side, not right now. I might have to figure out if I got to change my layout here, but I know that what's that?
Okay, see that add metrics button with the plus sign?
Plus
right next to TVL.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
okay, cool. Okay, so that's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's not that bad. All right. So we're still cool. Still some good arbitrage too. We're still cool on this graph layout here. Essentially toiling while markets are asleep and people aren't speculating on the token itself. But the TVL and the amount of people going in and earning yield within Morpho is absolutely going ballistic. So this is looking delicious. Absolutely love it. You know what? I hold the Morpho that I got. This is kind of enticing me to maybe top it off just a bit over the course of the next few weeks here. Because I am of the expectation, like in terms of not being valued in Bitcoin, altcoins are looking pretty damn bullish. We have this secondary upward trend line that we had developed basically starting in June of 2023. And it actually has bounced pretty nicely off this trend line about 3 times. So where I'm looking for, I am looking for higher highs on this. And I am looking for an expansion above and beyond this. I think that the total market cap, excluding the top 10, can reach around this $600-500 billion mark. I am looking for new highs on the cryptos that are outside of Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the top 10. And this is the hyper speculative plays. So the 500 million, the $1 billion market caps, the things that are much, much easier to use and much, much easier to get some really insane gains out of. So that is what that chart is looking at. It honestly, it's not too bad. Quick reminder while I'm looking at all this crazy chaos within this is don't forget why you joined crypto here. A life of rich people chasing more and more without ever enjoying their life. Bigger house, fancier cars. The real goal should be to buy back your time and help your loved ones. And taking control of my time, buying back that time, and not losing my time to federal governments that just print money at their own decision levels are really what I'm in this for. I want to get out of the rat race, the little wheel that we all get stuck in, trying to make more and more fiat as governments keep printing more and more, making us run harder and harder, faster and faster. This is why I'm in crypto, because I got to take control of that time. Amen. Amen. Now, we're going to take a look at some more altcoins here. Kita is getting ready for an updated roadmap. About a list of 7 items that they need to complete before Kita's mainnet network is released to the public. The mainnet's getting ready to launch, and I do want to go check out where the price of the token is sitting currently. Kita is on the back of my mind. And I was talking to Tim. I might actually just get some stable coins into the Kita network and start printing some on the DeFi network for this as well. So I'm going to be hitting up Veteran Crypto from DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. But this price chart looks very, very coiled up and ready for absolute violence. Let's check it out on TradingView here. So I am seeing a lot of support being built in this current level. I wish TradingView would give that historical beginnings data too, because I think this matters a lot. This is early adopter levels. These are people that kind of cause that sell pressure when you get into new price exploration room. But it's looking actually like it's building higher lows, and it is getting ready, in my opinion, for another run up to that $+ level. So Kita is on my mind for a potential play in altcoins. You know, it takes quite a bit for me to get enticed by an altcoin at this point in the game. Kita has my attention, has my interest. Now we're going into the, I got to check out the chat. Let me know in the chat if you guys have some, altcoins, questions about Bitcoin, and, all those different things. What's that? Oh yeah, Drift.
Yeah.
I got to look at Drift. All right, let's go look at Drift.
Fuck my life.
Why, did you already look at it?
No, I've been looked at it for a minute already.
Okay.
We're still great. I mean, come on.
Oh, this is a good question.
Don't fade me, you motherfuckers.
Blockchain basement pick one altcoin to round trip. Ooh. I know you have said you will not round trip any coin except Bitcoin, but let's play devil's advocate here. Which coin has the highest upside in 4 years? All right. Chainlink and Cardano. Chainlink and Cardano. People are going to hate me for saying Cardano, but you know what? Cardano is the most decentralized shitcoin on the planet. It has extremely good upside, and you know what? It's Chainlink and Cardano. Chainlink because
Ondo
it's going to continue.
And Ethereum.
Ondo and Ethereum for you?
Ondo and Ethereum.
You sicko. God.
Yeah, I want to pull something out that no one else was gonna say. So.
Oh man,
yeah.
I mean, Cardano's probably one of the more maddening ones in terms of price, but staying power, I think Cardano has extreme staying power. Absolutely, I think that Drift, this chart, cause for concern, Isaac.
I don't think it calls for concern. Right.
So do I buy it?
I mean,
are you telling me to buy this?
I bought it. I bought it at 39. I mean, compared to other altcoins, this altcoin is only down 40% when others are being shit on like 80 to 90%. I mean, still one of the biggest looked at coins on the Solana ecosystem outside of these shit coins. For where it's sitting right now at $135 million market cap, it's still a low cap gem that you can still make some serious gains on. I mean, if you go to look at TVL is still looking almost at $1 billion right now. Still, we're looking great.
Let's go look.
I mean, I don't see this as a bad project. I never have seen it as a bad project. I mean,
what the hell kind of psyop bullshit is this?
It's just the fact that altcoins in general are just getting beat down. That's why we're seeing altcoins, especially these picks that most people in this community hold, like Drift and Arrow. They're beat down right now. It's just the sentiment right now. You see Bitcoin dominance 65+%. I mean, it's just the state of the market right now. And unfortunate as it is, we're all poor and we have no money. There's still good picks and there's still money to be made.
Well, this is what I'm actively trading. I'm about to dump a bunch of I'm going to put Morpho, Aerodrome, Plume, and probably going to go into Kita DeFi as well. I don't have the bag built out for Kita yet, but like DeFi and trading are how I can consistently build up some cash. Not cash, but stable coins. And I don't own any Drift because I sold it all. Literally Pico top, Genius Maximus. But I could get in at nearly half the price that I got in. Right. Because I got 60 cents. You have a better entry than me. You started buying this thing at like 25 cents. Right. I had a worse one. I had 60 cents as my entry point. Like literally it was like 50 to 60 cents right here in these kind of tops of the channel. I do kind of look at this. Like I could be getting a half price entry point. Maybe I get, now you're starting to get me. I know things are horrible. I mean, my altcoin Doomsday title, but I'm going through these charts and I'm going through the stablecoin adoption. I'm going through the government level access points that are being built out for these alts. And we might actually be getting close to seeing that freaking Bitcoin dominance graph. I mean, we've had
to actually
3
fall.
weeks of oh my God, is this really Bitcoin? I'm gonna crash out right now. I'm gonna crash out. It knew I did it. It knew that I moved into the trade. Unbelievable. At least the recipe for the entry point I showed worked perfectly live.
Cooked live.
There you go. I just had to cover all the stories. You know, I can't keep track of this. Maybe I'll re-enter if I can get that washout again. I do wonder where the liquidity's living right now. Go over here, go check it out. And these are the tools of the trade. Literally, the tools of the trade here, folks. Don't get, don't. I get this all the time. Like, trading is so hard. And yes, you are against billionaires and algorithmic robots. I get it. Okay. But if your exposure levels are at a comfortable level and you can, like, say, I started this trading experience of $400 and now like a small trade is $2,000, right? Things can move very, very quickly in trading. That liquidity has freaking dried up to the downside too. God! Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is ridiculous. Go Bitcoin, go XRP. Wait, I wonder how many people would round trip XRP too.
Probably a lot.
I wonder how many people. You think so? You think a lot?
I
mean, there's a lot of
too.
XRP holders out there. I'd say this. XRP has enough market cap to literally pivot into whatever the hell kind of narrative they want at this point. They're at $100+ billion market cap. They could go into NFTs, or they could, do whatever the hell they wanted. With that kind of capital, the amount of money that Ripple has, they can shift the narrative. You've seen how powerful the KOL movements are for XRP. They could go do whatever the hell they want. Honestly, they'd still be around, probably within the top 20, in the next few markets here. Now we got to talk about the elephant in the room, the thing that I just cannot get off my mind, which is the list. It's the list. I'm not going to get off this. This is the old man. I can't believe Epstein killed himself right before he was about to be acquitted due to a complete lack of evidence. Man, makes you really wonder. And now we have people coming out on Fox News talking about the likelihood of why this is all unraveling the way it has.
I'm not blaming the FBI director, Kash Patel, or the deputy director, Dan Bongino. I think that layer beneath them, that's part of what we like to call the deep state, has taken this bull by the horns, and they've probably destroyed information. Look at what the CIA did in 1975 after Congress ordered that it release all of its files related to an operation called MK Ultra. The director of the CIA went back to headquarters and ordered everything to be destroyed. And in the end, only about 20% of the documents survived. We're still learning about the FBI's operations against Martin Luther King 55 years after the fact. So now we're supposed to believe that everybody's telling the truth, that there were no files, there were no dossiers. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it because I know how these people operate.
Given a highlight that it's likely the deep state decided that we had gotten too close to the sun and destroyed the evidence that would have condemned some of the largest names in the world and their nefarious actions. Probably pretty close to the truth. Probably pretty close to the truth right there. Now, something else is going on in the background. Obviously we prepare and we want to be good. We want to be good leaders. We want to be good, steadfast leaders for our families. And this comes from not only protecting our children from psychopaths like the Epstein network and like Epstein himself and like the people that protect Epstein, but we also need to be very, very cautious and knowledgeable about how to produce power should we actually experience a mass blackout. Now, this mass blackout, we could see from a standpoint of a war. We could see it from, successful hacks of Iran, but also the Trump administration has warned that U.S. blackouts could absolutely double by 2030 due to increased power demands by AI. Wow. Corporate need for outsourcing your job might actually cause your lights to go out intermittently in rolling blackouts. That's a fun idea. Also compound this with the fact that we've closed tons of coal plants and power infrastructure that we could rely on here in the United States. Super, super great. So please, for the love of God, always have a way to create at least a little bit of power on your property. A generator costs $500. It's a very, very simple system to get familiar with. I have 2 of them on my house. And it is something that, really we should be cognizant of, because if someone is talking about what's on my mind in terms of investments, invest in nuclear power. I think that is a G play. I think that is an alpha play over the next few years here, because they're going to roll out this AI to automate and, basically do away with a lot of people's jobs and make the corporation level feel better, and operate quicker and better, honestly. But investing in nuclear power, I think, is going to be something very, very powerful, because there's no way around it. They have to build nuclear power plants to provide the power that they need to release this AI at scale. Something I've said for years. I reiterate that, and I completely agree with you, Mr. Papaguth. Now, on the macro side, we see 30-year bond yields rise 6 basis points to 3.025% in Japan. Long-term bond yields are rising. The government's getting more needy for people to buy that debt and continue their Ponzi scheme, just the same as the United States. And companies in the UK, 17 companies, have shifted to a 4-day work week. Isaac, do you think you'd be effective? Is a 4-day work week reasonable, or is that kind of weird? That means you get a 3-day weekend. You get, I feel like I get a little disconnected on a 3-day.
It'll be different. 100%.
It'll be different.
I mean, 100%. I mean, your 3-day weekend. I mean, yeah, you get more time with the family. Might throw off productivity, like, even though they're saying it's not going to drop in productivity, it's going to be, again, you're being at work 4 days. It's going to be a big shift, especially if you're used to working that 5-day work week with the 2 weekend days off. I don't know. It'll be different. I don't know what it's really going to do in productivity. I mean, you see people working from home already, working remote. So, yeah, I mean, fewer sick days. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be different. I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, we're already seeing people work from home, so it's really going to change that much in the grand scheme of things. I don't know.
Yeah. What a great take from Rumble. Lolo, love you. Now at this rate, like, it's kind of hard for me to judge this, because I literally love what I do for a living. Like, I am doing what I dreamed of, what I manifested. And I'm of the, like, being away from work kind of bothers me, because I love what I do so much. But if I am at the place that I really am kind of disenfranchised, don't like it. I mean, having 3 days off of that place that I really dislike, great. Like, when I was a contractor, if I could do like 3 or 4 12 to 16-hour shifts, make all that money plus some overtime in just a short amount of time, and basically just recuperate and have 3 or 4 days in between that was actually a pretty good, because I hated going in there and doing that job. Like, it was fun. The training was fun. The encounters with assailants was fun, but then, like, the upward trajectory, it was very capped, and really that really forced me outside of my HR job. My HR job was, it was very, very mind numbing. But if I could find a way to make my money work for me, that was the whole goal. And thank God I've been able to apply myself over the last few years and figure out a way to do that. So I am liking where I'm at right now, but it is something, maybe we should consider it for the jobs that people like aren't thrilled about doing. Actually have that kind of 3-day weekend. That might be nice. Let's see here. Medicare. I want to see this big shitty bill called Beautiful. I don't like how it's going to mess with people's Medicaid and food stamps that need them. That is something that's going down. There's a lot of people that actually do rely on that stuff, and it's from, honestly, corporate greed. Like, literally, they talk about tariffs, like doubling the price of Nikes or whatever. Like, honestly, the companies could eat the tariffs and still make disgusting profits. They won't, though. They hate people, and they're just going to pass the pain on to the average person. The Medicaid thing, we are dealing with a society that I think half of the U.S. has some form of diabetes. I think it is. Massive amounts of cancer, massive amounts of aftermath of the medical industrial complex, and what they've done to keep customers coming back to the hospitals to stay alive. They're reliant on the systems right now, and it's really, really quite aggravating for me. Like, I could crash out and start cursing, but I'm not. I know that'll be an unintelligent thing to do, but it makes you wonder. And some of these companies really do make me wonder. Like Mountain Dew, this stuff makes me wonder quite a bit.
You heard of the Mountain Dew conspiracy theory? Mountain Dew? No, I haven't. This one's fun. Let's hear it. Every time Mountain Dew makes a marketing push for a new drink or a new flavor that they have, it coincides with a world event that typically isn't that great. That's terrifying. Let's hear it. So Mountain Dew Code Red came out in 2001. I know what event happened then. 3 months later, after it came out, 9/11 happened. This is not good. Maui burst. Right after they dropped that, 3 months later, the wildfires happened in Maui. Wow, that's crazy. You ready for this one? Ready. The Star Spangled Splash came out last year. Do you know who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? George Washington. Francis Scott Key. What bridge fell last year in Baltimore? The Francis Scott Key Bridge. Oh. Yes! 3 months after? That's kind of like immediately after that one. Pitch black. A few years ago, we had a blackout in the IT world. July 19, 2024. Various IT systems around the world experienced an outage. Mountain Dew dropped it and it went dark. Yes. Another one. Tropical swirl. Crazy hurricanes that wouldn't end in Southeast America just a few months after they dropped that flavor. They also, I just looked it up, they're dropping a mango rush flavor. Yeah. It might be a flood. It literally might be. And you can only get it at Little Caesars. Ooh. So where are the most Little Caesars, Zach? Did you look that up? No. But we saw one in Houston, Texas. So you think there's going to be a flood in Houston, Texas? There might be.
Jesus Christ. Have you ever heard? It's quite a stretch, but honestly, it makes you wonder. Now, one thing about Mountain Dew, somehow my dad is like still healthy and he slammed Mountain Dew like water. I think his body got used to it. The human body is quite incredible. The human body is quite incredible.
That Mountain Dew in Europe and every other country except for the United States is considered an energy drink?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
If you look it up, United States is the only country where Mountain Dew is not considered an energy drink.
What? Okay. I wonder what they would think of my my rain energies or like the pre-work. Speaking of pre-workout, geez, what am I doing? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Something ain't right. I got to make my pre-workout. You know what? And I'm back to I was punching for a while, doing just cardio workouts. I'm back to lifting. I did some chest yesterday, some heavy lifts. They felt really, really good. And, I kind of want to just go back to the old bench press, squat, and deadlift days. Going out there to Colorado, my stepbrother's an absolute monster, and he took me to the gym, and he was really focused on obviously weightlifting, bodybuilding, and it was just fun. It was just fun to like do that stuff again. I've been punching the bag like 2,000 times a day for months on end. Plenty of microfractures. My wrists are very, very strong, but it felt a little like, I might want to get back into that heavy weight on the hands, just to get that going again. But make sure if you guys are physically capable, keep your bodies healthy, work out. It's good for you. It keeps those neurons firing well, and it does well for your body in case you have to fight a bunch of Decepticons like this. Let's check this out. Protesters are now showing up in large numbers. Reports over radio of a federal vehicle having its tire slashed and objects being thrown at the vehicles. And we have things like this. Oh my God, look at this. So this is the ICE border, and there's Karen Bass in all of her glory. And here are some of the troops of the new woke mob that have come out and started to fight back against enforcing our border laws. They just cannot stand it. How could they enforce border laws? Here it comes. This is going to be crazy. Where do we have this thing? Where's this is the one? Look at this. This is crazy. This is what we're dealing with right now. Okay, this is mental illness. This is a force to deal with people's mental illness and acknowledge them. And I think this is a gay dude, right? And he's got a pretty interesting take on how society has devolved. I want to take a listen to this.
You might not like the truth, but I'll never tell a lie. The LGB community needs a divorce from the TQ+. Not a separation, not a break, a full-blown, court-stamped, assets divided, move out by Friday, divorce. Because we need to make something very, very clear here. LGB, that's just sexual preference. Yeah, me as a guy, I just like other guys. That's it. Not a pronoun party and not a gender celebration. Just good old-fashioned same-sex attraction. That's it. Now the Q+, oh, that's not a sexual preference. No, no, no. That is an identity crisis center. with a revolving door. You walk in as she, her, and come out as a two-spirited they, them dragon king.
Oh my God. A two-spirited they, them dragon king, bro. I actually kind of love that take. And I can understand, like, you know, the whole movement has been molded into this like weird force of acknowledgement of literal just mental illness. You know what I mean? I think that the situations that we see right now in the United States is a first world problem. Shout out to that guy for being like, that's also, I support the organization Gays Against Groomers. You know, like, gay people don't want to be lumped into the same people that are grooming children. You know, that's disgusting. And I would be very, very pissed if I was on that side of the fence, right? That's a super aggravating situation to be in. So shout out to you, base gay dudes out there. Multiply. They can't multiply. I shouldn't have used that word. Maybe they can. I don't know. You guys got to start talking about this in the open. Become more comfortable with this. I'm obviously comfortable talking about it because I'm hetero and, you know, I don't really worry about being lumped into that realm. But this is an important concept. Protecting our kids is the most important thing we can do as parents, as people of this planet. We need to leave good people behind on this planet for the love of God. So I hope you guys are doing well out there. It looks like Ethereum is actually waking up pretty nicely. I'm crashing out because I didn't leave this trade in and pay better attention to it because, man, there you go. The signal played out perfectly. We are absolutely kicking back on up to $109,000. This is the green dot confirmed. I knew the green dot was coming. Damn, I'm good at what I do here. And this is the type of flow that I like to do. So if you want to get involved with trading, make sure to join the Dig Discord. Also get in there for the DeFi, crypto and airdrops DeFi tutorials to learn how to just literally earn yield off of providing liquidity, getting involved with what crypto ecosystem truly is so powerful for. And Ethereum is actually waking up pretty good. I want to go over to Ethereum and check this out. This is actually getting really, really exciting. I know I should be ending, but look at this. We're getting a lot of really good movement on Ethereum, even in comparison to Bitcoin. This is a 15-minute candle that is popping. We pumped by 2% in a half an hour just about on Ethereum. Let's go check out the Bitcoin dominance graph. This is the hopium, the love that I needed to see. Bitcoin dominance falling down a little sharper. Love to see it. Love to see it. This is great. This is great for altcoins. A great day. Let's see if it's affecting any of the smaller altcoins that I hold personally. Let's check it out. All right, Aerodrome, nice little pop, 4.8%. Ethereum with a 3.3%. Ondo trying to break above and beyond that 80-cent mark. Chainlink trying to chink back up to $14. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. We are going to make it. We are going to make it. You get crypto at the price you deserve. You have to know we're investing in the most disruptive asset class on the planet, the most volatile asset class on the planet. And if it was easy, everyone would do it. I love and appreciate every single one of you for being involved with crypto before it's easy and mainstream to do. You guys stay locked in. This is the time frame where we have to learn all the different aspects, trading, DeFi, how to hold spot, what spot to hold, and understanding that Bitcoin, all of these roads and altcoins lead to Bitcoin. So understand that. Think of things in terms of Bitcoin. If you're buying a house, how much of a Bitcoin does this cost? If you're buying a car, how much of a Bitcoin does this cost? Change your mindset and you will change your life. I love and appreciate every single one of you guys out there. Stay focused. Pre-Rich, Hopi, Jeff R, Laserface, Jaku Kati, VZ Fat Cat, David Middleton, all the peeps, WP. I love you guys. Love you guys. Beast Mode. You guys are cool. You guys are real cool. You're the foundation of this show here. I love coming to work every single day to be able to talk to you about my innermost thoughts, all of my research that I never stop doing for you guys. I'm never going to stop working hard for you, and I'll see you on the next show. Take care.